Hey, it's the man in the cowboy hat.
What's up?
Uncle Knolly Williams. What's going on, my brother?
Uncle Nollie to you.
Uncle Knolly.
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. It's been good. I was out of the country for 30 days, and I'm back, and I'm EXPing, baby. What's up?
eXp, and I love it.
We got to do an EXP rap.
Yeah, you know what? We'll write that. Next time I'm in Austin, let's write that together. Get a
Let's
beat going behind it. Fred will be the backup dancer. It'll be great.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, Nollie, we got a lot of people on here watching, many that know you, many that don't, but give us a little background on yourself. Like, you're brand new. You're making an EXP announcement today. You left the country and you came back and joined a new company. Like, tell us the story, man.
Yeah. So, I've been in real estate started in real estate in 2003. And, hold on. I got my makeup and wardrobe over here. She's telling me my hat's too high there. So I've been in real estate. when I started in real estate, I was broke. And it's funny because a lot of people, when we came through this Christmas season, we just came through, a lot of times I don't like to mention the holidays on things like this because this is kind of something that'll live probably forever, right? But we just came through that, and man, I used to go through a lot of Christmases wishing that I had more money, that I had more, that I had more. But I had a big company. I was in the music business for a long time. We were making 150 grand a month in that business, but it tanked. It tanked when the market went to digital. And so I basically lost my business. And in 2003, I got into real estate. And man, I hit it hard. In my first 74 days in real estate, I took 21 listings. Okay. And in my first 10 years, I did over 1,000 listings, closed over 1,000 listings. So that's kind of my background. I got the bug for teaching and coaching because I love to teach and coach. I remember when I was with Remax, I used to be on the phone, man, for half a day, sometimes for 30 minutes, an hour with this agent, 20 minutes with that agent. And I didn't realize that there was a such thing as called coaching, I actually hired my first coach when I was 8 months in the business. But I didn't see myself as doing that. I just would give people free advice. And my wife would be like, you need to get out there and go sell some houses. And I'm like, but I like people come to me for advice and I like talking to them, but it wasn't paying. And when I switched to Keller Williams after 5 years with Remax, I was one of the top 20 Remax agents in the state of Texas. I was recruited hard by, back in the day and Keller Williams still does a lot of good recruiting. They're good at that. But they hit me hard for several years. And I just didn't really want to look at the company. I finally did, switched over, and I did 10 years. My idea was, man, I'm going to do 3 years with Keller Williams and then I'll see what's going on. Spent 10 years there. And when I found out about EXP, man, I do a lot of research. Those of you that know the disc profile, I'm an ISC, and I'm very high on the SC side. So I'm more or less like an engineer or a lawyer. And so I kind of look at everything, man, very skeptically. And so I was like, man, what's this company EXP? And to be honest with you, man, I got to say it, man, a lot of the people I was with at Keller Williams, they would just poo-poo on EXP. I mean, it was just like, and I get it, man. That's, if you're down with a certain company, it's just like, it's like taking sides, you know what I'm saying? So, but I for years, man, I train agents with every brokerage. If you have me into your city and I do a seminar, I've done at this point, we've done over 100 different cities with our Success with Listing seminar.
Wow.
Like I said, I got that about, I don't know when it was. I mean, you guys and I were doing coaching and training, 10 years ago, right? Teaching people short sales back then. And so I'm a coach, I'm a trainer. I have over 30,000 agents in my, on my list, if you will, that I teach and train and try to get them to their ultimate greatness. But again, I love you guys. I respect y'all. You guys came to me with the EXP opportunity, and I was like, I can't deny when two guys like Kevin and Fred come and say, hey, this is what we're doing. you got to at least look at it. You know what I'm saying? You can't just dismiss it out of hand, which is what I had been doing for some time. And I got to say, I was blown away with everything that I researched on eXp. It's just killer, man. I'm super excited, dude. Super stoked.
Is it?
Sorry for that long answer.
No, that's awesome, man. I appreciate the history of being at Remax for several years, top agent, being at Keller Williams for 10 years, a very recognizable figure. Be honest with us, though, man. I mean, you won't hurt Kevin or my feelings. Like, did you really look at eXp because you thought maybe there's a great model here, or were you more or less?
No. I just, because I knew you got like, and you guys are great. I mean, you're good at holding that space, and we're not. I mean, even now I'm building my revenue share organization. I've already got several people joining eXp through my organization. And so, but you want to be respectful of people because we love all agents. I mean, we're in a cooperative industry. Yeah. So, you might go show my listing. I might go show yours, no matter what brokerage you're with. And that's just how we roll in the real estate business. So we respect that. And you guys were very respectful. But I think what you recognized was, my entrepreneurial spirit. I'm a big ClickFunnels guy. I've got 3 or 4 different businesses. There was one time when I had 9 businesses. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
You remember those days, right? But now I have 3 businesses that are really, really rocking, and I have a few little other ones. So when you guys saw the eXp model, I think from what I can tell, you guys said this would work really well for Knolly Williams. Like you knew I would go nuts if I looked at it, if I at least looked at it. And so you kind of held the space. You sent me a couple of videos to watch. And honestly, I would just really ignore them. And I knew that out of respect for you guys, I should go ahead and invest 7 minutes or 30 minutes to at least watch the video. And because I knew whenever we saw each other again, you'd be like, hey, what'd you think or whatever. So I just did it. I just did it out of a courtesy, to be honest with you. And I was blown away, man. I was like, wow, how come I haven't been told this stuff from... Well, and I know why I wasn't told that stuff, because when you see the truth, it's real hard to stay where you are. It's real hard to not make that switch to eXp. It's just difficult to do. And I went I really didn't go back and forth. Honestly, after I saw and really researched, I was in 100%. But it took me 100 days to really solidify that I was making the right move. That I was on the fence, if you will. But it was like, man, am I really doing the right thing? Is this really the real deal? Things like that. And so it just took me quite a while of doing research and talking to other people. And the productivity coach from my market center is already at eXp. I know a bunch of team leaders that have had me in to speak. They've already left for eXp. The team leader at the Northwest Market Center, which is really our biggest competitor as far as was when I was with the Southwest Market Center. She went to eXp. Man, so many people that I know. And then, of course, one of my greatest friends of all time, Kevin Cooper, started talking about he was going to eXp. So I was like, man, so I really just had to look at everything and analyze it. It took me 100 days to do it. I'm hard. I tell people I'm unrecruitable. I used to tell people that all the time, but the facts are just undeniable. It's undeniable, and I'm super stoked. I'm excited.
So Nollie, if I could ask you, go ahead, Kevin, if you had a question.
No, I was just going to say, so are we. Like to say that we're excited about this and the opportunity to work with you hand in hand again. I know we did some stuff together back in the short sale days, and that was a lot of fun. Like honestly, just off topic. One thing I'll never forget, Nollie, my first experience with you was the 3 of us were on a panel together at Family Reunion. It was in Orlando, 2009. And that was the first time I met you. It was like minutes before that panel started. And I will never forget, like as soon as that panel was over, 97% of the room just like they swarmed you, bro. They just absolutely swarmed you. Like they could not get enough Uncle Nollie. And I was like, I looked at Fred. I'm like, who is this guy? And like that was the beginning. Man, it was over from there. I like fell in love with you that day and been friends ever since. Man, I'm so excited to have this opportunity. Anyways, I absolutely. So like I digress. So back to my question was going to be, you've told me we've spent so much time together over the last decade, and
you guys have been in my house probably I don't know, half a dozen times, if not more. Yeah,
at least. And you told us a lot about the music business, and you told me about the thing like, hey, you made a mistake in your music business, and I always felt like you learned a lot from that, and that mistake had to do with when it went digital, right? And what was it? You didn't believe the MP3 was going to catch on, and how has that propelled your real estate business when you kind of reinvented yourself?
Well, honestly, man, and I got to say this, I was recruited to Keller Williams by Gary Keller. A lot of people don't know that, but people knew in Austin that I was following the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, but I wasn't at Keller Williams because I was like, I adored my broker at RE/MAX. I loved him, still love him to this day. I mean, look at this. A year after I was with Keller Williams, I was still going to RE/MAX office parties. I was still going to the RE/MAX Christmas party. I mean, I love my broker, man. And so it wasn't about that. The love is always there. I love my peoples at Keller Williams too. You see that? My peoples. I love them too. But when I was in the music business, this thing called MP3, we did a conference. I was with, at the time I was with EMI. It was, the largest company in the world for music. And they own Capitol Records. They own all these businesses. And when I signed on with EMI, they had this big summit and they were talking about everything's going digital. And I'm like, man, I'm doing rap, hip hop. It was Christian music and I was doing rap, hip hop. We have the #1 label in the world for that genre. And so I was like, man, people are just coming off cassette to CD. Digital ain't gonna do nothing. So I just dismissed it. Well, within a couple of years, I lost 70% of my sales, all because I didn't switch, I didn't shift. And so I pretty much lost my business, went from making 150 grand a month to pretty much having to close the doors. I had 14 employees, 18 artists. We had a 6,000 square foot home. On that property, 10 acres. We had a 1,500 square foot office building. We had a 1,200 square foot recording studio. I mean, I was living in like Disney World, like paradise, man. I had to walk away from everything, all because I didn't look at the clock and see that the digital era was taking over. And the same thing's happened in the real estate business. It's already happened, and it's in the shift of happening. And I've been working from home since I was 22 years old. I love working from home, just like the president of the United States. And when I saw the model of, you and I know the brick and mortar is a thing of the past. Now, I get it that some agents love the brick and mortar. They love the water cooler. They love all that. I love taking listings. And what I teach my agents to do is get out there and get them listings. Do your 3 hours of lead generation and spend your afternoon in the field on listing appointments. I mean, honestly, the program that I teach my agents on how to take, if they want to do 50 listings a year, 100 listings a year or more, it doesn't have anything to do with floor duty or office time. It has to do with them, doing their lead generation in the morning and their listing appointments in the afternoon, period. And so I love the stock options at eXp. I mean, look at this, man. I was with people are like, oh, well, the stock, and I've heard a few negative things about the stock and this and that here and there. Stock is a long-term decision. I mean, I remember when I had a client of mine. This is a true story. I had a client of mine. Went, listed his house. He had 10 houses to sell. He was selling one house a year because he retired, and he was listing them with me. And he told me, he said, Nollie, I had an opportunity years and years ago. I went to a Luby's. It was a cafeteria here in town. And he sat and listened to this guy that was wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt talking about investing in his computer company. Well, he was like, man, who's this dude? I'm not gonna go with that. Well, it turned out that dude was Michael Dell. And at that time, he could have put in, even 10 grand and been a millionaire. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way stocks work. You put in your stock, you're not going to cash it out in 90 days. I mean, you just let it sit there and do what it does, right? But I guarantee you this, I'm with eXp and I was with Keller Williams 10 years. I don't have any stock in Keller Williams. I didn't leave with any stock, none whatsoever. And so I love the stock options and I love revenue sharing, man. I mean, think about it. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been a business owner since I was 22. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 13. How much do I pay in taxes? As little as possible. Why do I pay as little as possible? Because I write off everything, right? I try to show as little profit as possible. Profit is not profitable, right? So and that's the reason why the U.S. government's a nonprofit, right? And so the thing is, when you're talking about profit sharing, that's in a whole different stratosphere from revenue sharing. To me, revenue sharing is like if affiliate marketing. I'm with ClickFunnels. If somebody joins ClickFunnels under me, they're paying $100 a month. They're giving me 40% of that. I'm making $40 a month. Okay. Now, if ClickFunnels did profit sharing, I'd probably be making $2 a month on that $100. You see what I'm saying? So it's a whole different ball game. And so those are, just some of the reasons I love eXp. And I'm excited. I'm excited about it, bro. Can you tell? Yeah.
I love it. Hey, Nollie, maybe a follow-up to Kevin's question, but I know you're a detailed guy, right? You got the ISC you mentioned earlier. You sent Kevin and I an article that came out from Forbes recently talking about basically the disruption in the real estate industry, in the brokerage industry. Do you mind speaking on that for a minute? And there were the article was not written with any company's names mentioned whatsoever. It was just talking, it was a great Forbes article talking about the state of the real estate industry.
Yeah, so when I did my research, that's a great question. When I did my research about just brokerages in general, I didn't just stick to researching eXp and talking to a bunch of people at eXp. Man, I researched up and down different companies. If I'm going to make a switch, maybe I should just start my own. I've been a broker for over 10 years. I can just start Knolly Realty. I mean, once you start thinking about making a move, you start thinking of a lot of things, right? And so one of the articles I ran across was, what is the real estate brokerage of the future? And that article was written in mid-2018. And when you read the article, it was basically almost 100% describing eXp. It was just a Forbes article. It was a generic article, but the whole premise of the article was, look, you think, and we've known this for years, people try to use us as little as possible. Like now, if I'm working, like for example, I've been working with a buyer that's buying in the $900 to $1 million range. Well, she really needs me as little as possible. Like, she already knows where the listings are. She already knows what the prices are. She already knows the school. She already knows the taxes. She already knows the information. She's looking on all these websites, whether it be Zillow, Trillium, et cetera, and she's informed. People are armed and informed. And so they use us really kind of to facilitate the transaction, to negotiate, and for other things, ancillary things. But I mean, these are important things that they use us for. But let's face it, people have tried to do away with us as much as they can. Okay, and when you're talking, so what the Forbes article was talking about is that these brick and mortar companies are going to die. They're going to become dinosaurs, just like Blockbuster. Okay. Just like these bookstores that are no longer exist because of Amazon and Netflix and so on, these companies are going to become irrelevant. That's all it is. They're irrelevant. Okay, they no longer are relevant to the marketplace, to what people need. In other words, they don't speak to the needs of the people. And so that's exactly. And so it gave like 5 different points that you're going to look for, because here's the thing: if you're a real estate agent, there's 2 people that are looking at this. Number one, the client. The client's like, what do I need in a real estate broker to represent me, or a real estate agent to represent me? Does having an office even matter? No, of course, they could care less about that. There's certain criteria, and the Forbes article spoke to that. The second thing is, real estate agents are like, okay, what do I need in a brokerage? And they start looking at, what am I getting? What value am I receiving? Because, The Secret to Permanent Prosperity by Mike Hernacki, Gary Keller gifted me that book about a decade ago, talks about you've got to give value and you got to receive value in return. And what's happening with the traditional brokerages are they're actually creating what we call diminished value. In other words, the status quo over the years is becoming less and less desirable. They're like, hey, we have offices. Well, I don't need an office. Well, we have a profit share. Well, over there, they're sharing revenue. Well, we have this. Well, over there, they'll give me stock. You see what I'm saying? And so, honestly, my clients probably could care less about what brokerage I'm with. I mean, that's just God's honest truth. What my clients care about is that I'm going to do them right. I'm going to do everything that I promised them, that I'm going to get their house sold when I say I am. And that I'm with a company, that I'm back with a company that has a national presence and is able to help me, support me in the goals that I have for them. And so when you're a real estate agent going into 2019, 2020 and beyond, you have to ask yourself, what am I getting for what I'm paying? And it's an honest question. And I think right now is the best time to do it, man, because it's the top of the year. Everybody's looking at everything. We're looking at our goals. We're looking at our expenses. And for example, I had an agent just the other day. She was like, well, I just capped. So she's ready to join. And I was like, well, I just capped like 2 weeks ago and I'm rolling with eXp. So it doesn't matter. Now is the time for me, my position of it is it's time to get in, join. I wouldn't say the bandwagon, but join what's going on. Get yourself educated. You owe it to yourself, whether you make a decision, yay or nay, you owe it to yourself to look at the material, watch the videos, and then make an intelligent decision. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's so easy to just take the opinion and the research of people that you like and have trusted for years. Not to say that those people are out to do you harm, but I know for Kevin and I was a big, as I like to say, hell no, Nollie, about eXp early on. And the reason that I was a hell no was because I had heard statements from other people I liked and trusted, and I took those at their face value. Now, does it mean those people were lying to me? No, it doesn't. It's just they had a certain perspective and a certain bias when they were telling me those things. And until I actually stopped and looked at the model, that was the moment that the light bulb went on for me.
Yeah, and let's face it, eXp is not for everyone, and that's okay. There's going to be some people. I mean, when I was with Keller Williams, there was people that in our Remax office joined Keller Williams and went back to Remax. I mean, that's going to happen. eXp is not for everyone, but what I found is it's probably for 90% of the people that I've talked to and the agents that I know. I've got over 30,000 on my list, and probably 90% of them, eXp is going to be a great fit for them. There's 10% that it just might not be, and I get that.
Yeah, I love that, Nollie. Like, number one, you acknowledge it's definitely not for everyone, but it is for a lot. And most importantly, I remember a text you and I had, the three of us had last week, where you had had lunch with someone who had they actually had sought out information on eXp, and their vision or their thought of what the company was versus reality was so far off. Right. And we agree. Like, I said, I told you, yeah, that's going to happen a lot. It happened to us. And I've heard it. I can't even count the number of times now I've heard where I've said, somebody said to me, Kevin, no one's ever explained it to me that way. No one's ever explained I didn't know this about the company, or I didn't know that about the company. And what happens is I think people hear the revenue share and the stock, and I call that frosting, right? And most people don't talk about the cake for whatever reason, or they don't focus on the cake or everything else. But the reality is it's a great brokerage. There's a lot of good stuff going on here. And most importantly, it's run by really great people. And there's some that's why we keep attracting more and more great people to this company like yourself. And so, man, I'm just so excited to have you on the team, brother.
Yeah, me too, man. And the back office at eXp is amazing. I mean, all the people that run that, it's just absolutely incredible. It's incredible. So I did have one agent that I'm talking to as well this week. She was like, hey, well, how's the back end? How's the back office? And I'm like, whoa, so much better than anything I've ever seen. That's what I can say about it, So I'm going to be doing a demo with her this week. Yeah.
We'll leave the comments about that to that.
Okay, cool.
Sorry,
hey, Nollie, if I could jump in. So I think the one thing that I've always heard from people that talk about you, and my personal experience, is that you care. You're a guy that legitimately, like, you're a giver. You talked earlier about how your wife was giving you a hard time, Josie was, when you got in the real estate business, because you were always on the phone trying to help other people, but you weren't necessarily making money for yourself. I know over the years you've corrected that, right? You're making money for yourself, but you're also helping other people make more money. I
didn't realize you could make money. I thought, I was like, man, making money by teaching people what I already know to do. It's like, to me, it's just common sense. But it's not really common sense. It's because I study, and to me, it was just like, okay, well, this is what you need to do those extra 20 deals. But I didn't realize you can get paid to do that. And so when I figured that part out, now I don't charge. I try to make my, I'm fair. I try to, but one thing that I have found too is that when people don't pay, a lot of times they don't pay attention either. So go back to what you were saying, Brad.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, so like Uncle Nollie loves his people, right? Like you talked about the list of 30,000 people, which I know you interact with thousands of those people on a monthly basis. Is it fair to say that the people that may move over to eXp are going to get even more Uncle Nollie love, if I could say it that way? I mean,
So
I know there's now even an additional incentive to want to help people sell more real estate and grow their career at eXp, should they decide this is the place for them.
Absolutely. That's why I put together partnerwithnollie.com. Partnerwithnollie.com, because what I put together is I said, what can I give people if they're joining? Because I know I'm going to be spending an awful lot of my time, with eXp. And so I said, I don't want to take, how can I combine all the time that I'm giving over here and not take away from my people over here? And my list, you know what I call them? I call them my congregation. I don't tell them that I call them that. Now they know. But behind the scenes, I'm like, I haven't spoken to my congregation this week. That's how I think of them. Yeah. These are my people. Like these are my family members. You know what I'm saying? And they're my children. And so my thing is, I decided, okay, well, I can do. I'll do a thing called Mentorship Masters. And with Mentorship Masters, basically, they're getting my Next Level Insiders Club, which is. That's more like business coaching, and I've got 3 coaches that coach in that. They're also getting my Millionaire Success Secrets coaching, and I call it my Life Unlimited University. And that's where, when you sit down with someone, because I have multiple businesses, not just in real estate. I retired when I was 45 years old, and I have multiple streams of income that come in and cover me while I go out and play. Whether I be overseas for a month or I might just be teaching classes for a month, it doesn't matter. I just wake up and do what I want to do as the spirit moves, right? And so they get that, I call it Millionaire Success Secrets, where I teach them not just real estate, but entrepreneurship. And a lot of this really bleeds into life coaching as well. So they get free life coaching. They get a lot of different stuff from me. So the value is over $10,000 a year in stuff that my coaching students are already paying me for. I'm basically giving it out for free to anyone that's in my Mentorship Masters program that joins eXp under me. So, and that's going to be fun. Another thing that I'm doing is 2-day classes that I'm going to do live in Austin, Texas, every single month. So if you've joined my revenue share group through eXp, then you get to fly in and you pick the month that you want. It doesn't have to be every month, but you can come in twice a year, 3 times a year, whatever, and spend 2 full days with Uncle Nollie. The first day we do what we call Success with Listings Live. That's a full day where I'm just helping you build your listing career. The second day, I call it Millionaire Success Secrets. Nothing about real estate. It's just about you building your entrepreneurship, because I want you to have multiple streams of income so that, when you do decide to retire, whenever you decide to do that, you're debt free, you got money coming in, and you can do whatever you want to do in this life. Too many agents, man. I was just talking to an agent just the other day, like 2 days ago. This guy in her market has been in business for 30 years. 30 years. He just passed away, and they're doing a fundraiser for his funeral. Okay, he's been in the real estate business for 30 years, can't even pay for his own funeral. You see what I'm saying? Now, there's nothing wrong with doing fundraisers to help people out. I get that. But the guy died without anything, and he'd been in the real estate business. Well, I'm not going to have that now, for my students and my coaching students, and I'm not going to have that for myself, because, with eXp, we've got that covered. Go watch the video and you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I'm teaching entrepreneurship as well with those 2-day classes. So they get all that stuff at no cost when they join through me. And I'm not. If you've already been talking to somebody about eXp and you're thinking about don't join through me. I mean, go with whoever you've been talking to. I mean, that's the thing. But my thing was like, what can I offer of value? What's in my wheelhouse that I can offer that's my best stuff that people are paying me big dollars for? And that's what I came up with.
Well, Nolly, one of the things I love about you, you use the word congregation. Like you look at your list as your congregation, and let's forget about companies for a minute. Let's forget about eXp and KW and Remax. What I love and have always loved about you is you're about helping the real estate agent, no matter what company they're at, no matter where they're at in their life, no matter where they're at in their business. You went, I've got something through my business experience and through my through my life experiences that I can help them and give back. And to me, that's just one thing that makes you so attractive as a person, as a business person, as a friend, as a brother. It's one of those things that anybody who knows you and has spent any time around you at all, they can feel that about you. And that's one of the things that I just love about you.
Thank you. Thank you. I will say this real quick, and I don't know how we are on time, but I'll say this real quick. You know, my answers are very lengthy, but I'll say this quickly. When I was in the music business, I started when I was 22 years old. I actually started in music when I was 13. And I was doing rap, hip hop. And I didn't want to teach my artists anything because I felt like I was living in a mentality of lack. I felt like, man, if I teach these guys what I know, they're not going to need me no more. You know, they're just going to start their own record label or they're going to not need me. So I didn't really teach them about the record business. And it was to my detriment. It really was to my detriment that I didn't do that. But at that time, it was ego driven. I had a lot of lack in my life. Now, fast forward, I've come to understand that lack doesn't exist. There is no competition. You are your only competition. Okay. Wow. And so if I can teach people everything that I know, the scripture says iron sharpens iron. So if I teach you everything I know, guess what? You're going to be so much better and you're going to raise me up, right? Because now my game's got to be tight. It's just like playing the game of Monopoly. You know, if I'm sitting with a lackluster player, I'm not even having fun. But if I got somebody there that knows the game, it's a challenge, boy. We're having fun now. And so I like to teach people every single thing that I know so I can have more fun in the game. You know what I'm saying? That's what we've done for years. You guys have taught me everything you know, and I've taught you everything I know. That's just what makes it fun, man. Yeah, we're not losing any deals over it, are we?
Nope.
We're just making a lot more. See? And if people can understand that one of the secrets to life is giving, man, your life is going to be so much better, so much happier, so much more fulfilled. And I'm getting more, obviously, you know, I feel like I'm getting more from giving than I'm getting from receiving, you know, so, and that's just how it works.
Absolutely. All right.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Appreciate you too, brother. Fred, you got any last comments or thoughts you want to share before we get on out of here and let Nollie get back?
Just that we should do this again in 3 or 6 months. I want to hear about Nollie's journey at eXp. I want to hear about the lives he's impacting and changing. I want to hear about his experience with the company because I know he'll tell it like it is. And so I'd love to do this again is all I want to say. And I guess the last thing I'll say, Nollie, is one more time, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, is that URL that you shared earlier probably the best way to do that? Do you want to reshare that?
Yeah, it's partnerwithnollie.com, Knolly, partnerwithnollie.com. There's a little form on there. If somebody fills out that form, it's like three questions. It'll shoot me an email, and I personally check my own emails. I haven't outsourced that yet. So I will personally get back with you and answer your questions and that. So. But then I've got videos on there. I've got a lot of different information, and I've got my mentorship master's program, like I said, that people can join for free. So that's the best way. Love you guys.
Awesome.
Love you too, brother. We'll drop that link in the comments so everyone, you don't have to, in case you didn't write that down, you don't have to keep rewinding. But Nollie, I'm just so excited the day is finally here, my man, and I'm looking forward to hanging out again very soon and sharing another meal and just kind of hanging out and working on business ideas together.
You bet. Can't wait, man. Can't wait. Love y'all.
All right, y'all.
Welcome to eXp, buddy.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for tuning in today and joining us. For more information regarding eXp Realty, we'd like to invite you to one of our Discover the Truth of eXp Realty webinars. You can find that information at kevinandfred.com/truth. Again, that's kevinandfred.com/truth. Thanks so much. Create yourself a great day.